My name is Sashi Sharma, and I'm a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I'm also the moderator of this panel discussion, and I'm very delighted to host our guests, Mr. Venkatesh Gupta, Mr. Saeed Farhan Ahmed, and Mr. Jatin Pandya. Hope for a wonderful session ahead. So, now starting with the very first question and the focus of this event, that is, who is a product manager, and what it is the role and what the role is about. So, Venkatesh, sir, over to you.
Venkatesh sir, I think there is a you're on mute.
Hey, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, hi everyone. I hope all of you are safe and doing good. Like, these are really tough times. We don't know what's going to happen next, but the idea is to keep positive and do well. Thanks for having me here. So product management, it's a very it's not a very cliche thing. It has evolved over the time. So a product manager is a person who is responsible for maintaining the product end to end. So a product manager is that person who works with different stakeholders like marketing, designers, data scientists, developers, and obviously other teams like sales, operations, and ensures that the product is shipped and the product is doing well. Uh, Apart from that, a product manager is someone which I think is responsible for getting things done. So as a product manager, it is your prime responsibility to get things done anyhow and ensure that your users are loving your product, because ultimately at the end it's all about your users, how your users are feeling after they've used the product. That is something that is very important. I'll keep it short for now.
Okay, so say, sir, over to you. Like, according to you, what is product management and the what role is about?
Yeah, thanks, Darshit. So, Venkatesh has covered pretty much what product management is about. Let me just add in a few points. So, from starting of a product vision, when the product vision is defined in a company, to working closely with engineering and designing teams and also the marketing teams, it's actually the role of a product manager to ensure that all things go on smoothly. And finally, the product manager has to make sure that the product market is a good fit. Okay, so once you release the product into the market, it needs to resonate well with the public in the current time when the product is released, right? So it's not only about working with the engineering teams and designing teams, but product manager also has to look or work with the sales, marketing, and the support teams, right? Because maximizing the revenue of the company and making sure that customers are satisfied and the goals are met is the most important thing. So if you talk about the startup environment, the roles are pretty loosely defined. But if you talk about corporates, then there's marketing product manager, there's engineering or technical product manager, and it all depends on which company you're looking at. Each company has a specific designated roles for product management, and it depends on what exactly you're working on or which team you're actually working with.
Okay, that's very great, and I hope everyone is understand what product management is all about. So just to clear it in a single goal, we also have Jatin Pandey, sir. So over to you, Jatin, sir.
Hey everyone, thank you so much. First of all, it's really great to be in a panel with Venkatesh sir and Farhan, because they both of them are in this field, and they are doing really great work. Yesterday I was also in like the open spaces on Twitter where Venkatesh sir was there. It was about productivity versus mental health, and it was great. So in the end, I think both of them have shared the best of product management, but I am too much passionate about this field from past almost 2 years, and I have done an internship as at a company at a Salesforce, one of the child branches, Experto. It's not in India right now; it's outside. And after that, I have been at with a startup as their product design, and all I've understood is product management is there is a very little myth in product management, right? People used to say that okay, product management, what is it, and what are you guys actually do? Is it marketing or sales, or how is it different from development overall? So there is a clarity that I want to convey everywhere. Before understanding product management, you have to know there is no organization on the planet that can grow without a product manager. Product manager, it's not just a marketing or sales guy or a software developer, because we see 90% of the time there are software people, and there are people from computer science background in this place of product manager. Product management, you have to have the passion to not only develop something but make sure that it impacts people. Like for example, we have Venkatesh sir here. We all know Internshala is impacting at least one student from each engineering school in India. So now you can just feel as a product manager every single thing, every small change that he do impacts lakhs of students in India. Now you can understand product management is not a separate thing. It's a practice that you do. Software developer, marketing, sales, even the designer, they all are under the same umbrella of product management. It is the very own vision coming to life, what I can say. So yeah, that's my take on this. Thank you, Darshan.
Thank you, Jitin sir. So my very next question is for Said sir, and it is like, what is the difference between product management, program management, and project management, as they all are quite similar in terms. So over to you, Said sir.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Darshit. So let me talk about project management and keep it aside for now. So what's exactly project management? So as the name suggests, project, it's about managing a project, right? In a company. So it focuses on internally achieving specific goals. If you have objectives in a company, you need to design a product. Let's say you have some deadlines for it and you have certain budget. So project managers ensure that the product is completed within the project time given to it, within the time allotted for that specific product, and also within the budget which has been specified by the executive board, right? So once the project is complete, it's no longer kind of a managed product. And now let's move on to product management. So as we already spoke earlier, I mean, Venkatesh and Jatin also spoke about what product management is. It's kind of a loosely defined role and depends on company to company, right? So if you have a look at a broader view of product management, it focuses on, both customer satisfaction and also overall development of the product while working with the engineering and designing teams. So you have seen the contrast, right? Project management is all about time planning, making sure that the project is completed within the budget. But on the other hand, product managers ensure that the product is actually ready by the end of the time. They work with the engineering and the designing teams, right? But what is this program management? We saw that product and project. Okay, what is exactly left? So there are a few companies like Microsoft who do not have loosely defined roles like product or project management, but instead they talk about program management. So they have programs assigned for specific projects and projects or products, and there is a program manager, which could be a marketing program manager or which could be a technical or engineering program manager, and they work together to make sure that the product vision is actually successfully, you can say, met. So program management is kind of a mixture of all of the fields which you can find, and it's more inclined towards a few companies like Microsoft, and product versus project I've already spoken about. I think Venkatesh can talk more on these lines.
Yeah, Venkatesh have some problems technically. So we have Jatin sir regarding it. So Jatin sir, what are your views on the same about product management, program management, and project management?
Okay, so like I think Farhan has explained every single thing so deeply, and I just need to add one more thing because I think 99% of everything is totally explained in Farhan's side. I think that's as clear as we can see. I think the one and only thing that can summarize everything is it's company dependent. Because if I take example, there is a nomenclature situation, company to company, organization to organizations. In Google, they have project managers much often than product managers. They also have product managers, but they are a senior product managers and senior level roles that they say. And in Microsoft, as we see, we have program managers more often with us. We have community program managers in Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, and we have program managers of Azure, and we also have product managers, but they are again senior side of it. In Amazon, if you go, you can see there are product and program managers as well. So it depends company to company, but it's the responsibility, what shall I say? You have to lead a team of developers, designers, and marketing and business people. They all will work not under you, but you somewhere guide them to making a successful product, because business people will just take the numbers for you in terms of business. Sales people will make it market. Developers will develop it. Designers will make it so interesting for the users, or as we say, user segmentation. But as a product managers, it is never about this one single thing. As a product manager, this is about the impact. You have to understand you're working together with everyone to make an impact with your product. So I think that's the biggest thing that I can say. Whether it's project, program, or product manager, it depends based on companies and organizations, their hierarchy and their working culture. So that's my take.
Okay, so I would like to remind all the attendees that if you have any questions, you can ask them in our chat Q&A section. And so we have a next question for Venkatesh sir. So Venkatesh sir, what are the skill sets required for the product management?
Pretty good question. The skill set are not defined for product management still. If you read the JDs, you'll find the different companies are asking for different skill set. And the most important thing, the tricky thing about product management is if you apply for a coding role or if you apply for a design role, you know that you need quantitative skills for that. If you are applying for a coding role, you should know data structures and algorithms, or a backend front-end language. And if you're applying for a design role, you should know tools of designing and the design principles. But for a product management, what skills you need cannot be quantitatively identified unless it's done in an interview. But I think there are a couple of skills which comes in very handy. I'll talk about first. I will talk about quantitative skills, and then qualitative skills. So in the quantitative skill, I believe the first is you should be good with numbers. So having a knowledge of SQL and Excel is very important. You should be able to, I say, keep on saying to my junior product managers that you should be able to feel and understand numbers. So you should understand how funnel works, what is funnel, what are different metrics, and how is it impacting your product? Is the funnel leaking anywhere, and all those things. So to get started, it's important to get good with numbers, and by getting good with numbers, I mean you should be good with tools that helps you to extract data. And that I mean particularly Excel or Google Sheets or SQL. So that is one important skill. The second skill is you should have a sense of design. So this is again a very important skill, that you should have a sense of design. What is UI? You should be very particular about the user experience, because you are the guy in a company who is primarily responsible for maintaining the user experience of the product, because different teams have different aims and objectives. The marketing team would want a campaign to success. The sales team would want more and more sales. uh, that coding team or the development team might have certain different objectives, but you are the sole advocate of customer in your organization, because you are talking what the customers are feeling and you're standing for your customers. So user experience, understanding and having a good sense of user experience is particularly very important. The third is I don't know where to put it in the quant or qualitative bucket, but I think the next is good communication skills. And when I mean good communication skills, it means both written and verbal skill. So a product manager is 60-70% composed of his or her communication skill, how well they communicate with different stakeholders. So that is very important trait of a product manager. And communication skills, your writing skills comes handy when you're writing your project requirement documents, which we call as PRD. how deliberate you are, how much attention to details you're paying. So these are again some set of skills which are needed. If I talk about qualitative skills, the first, I think, I don't know how will you judge this skill in an interview or while you are in the process of hiring a candidate. But empathy is one skill which I believe is most important for a product manager. Unless you get into the shoes of your customer and understand that what is their pain point in the product, you can really you cannot feel your customers or your user experience and can implement in that product. So empathy, there are different frameworks which interviewers use to measure empathy. Even I use to measure empathy in a candidate. But empathy is one very important skill, I would say, that is needed in product management. Apart from that, I know I told about numbers, so I club numbers with analytical skills. So there are certain things that when you understand numbers, you should be able to convert those numbers into inferences really very fast. So that is one skill that is important for product managers. Yeah, so these are the 4 or 5 skills which I believe that are important to product managers. I think Syed and Jatin will have their own points to add. So yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Venkatesh sir, and thank you for all the skill set you taught about us. So I hope any of attendees, if they are trying to be a PM, it will definitely help them. And now, sir, also there is one thing that there today is a boom of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science. So is there any different program for them, like an AI program manager? So over to you, sir, Saeed sir, for this.
Yes, definitely. So Venkatesh has covered most of the points I mean, the skill set which is actually required for a general program or general product manager, right? But if you talk about the skill set required for an AI product manager, so one thing that's very important, which people miss out when they are actually starting into the space, is to prepare your mindset for failures. Because when you're working with AI products, you're putting them in deployment, you know that, okay, if let me give you a small example. If it's some kind of a prediction, you can say a prediction, a product around prediction for something, for image or for text data, and it's the website is kind of live and the customers are actually interacting with it, so there's a high probability that you will not get the results, and the executives who are above you will try and pressurize you, saying, okay, this product is not exactly working, you're not able to deliver so and so said, you can say, deliverables within so and so time. So it's very important to prepare the mindset within the company to be able to take up failures when you're working with AI products, to be able to understand that it involves a lot of risk, and that the predictability is actually very less if you're working with AI product management. And apart from that, you can say that risks are very important to take when you're talking about AI product management. And of course, the product manager needs to have domain knowledge about what AI is and how you're going to implement AI in the life cycle of your product.
Uh, okay, Saeed sir. So I have another same question for the Jatin sir, but it is like about if we acquire all the skill sets as mentioned by Venkatesh sir and Farhan sir, but what about the degree? Like people always choose an MBA graduate over a normal BTech graduate for a project management role. So what are your views about this? Like, is it possible to become an product management or AI product manager on without an MBA degree?
Uh, okay, so I guess the best person for this question would be Venkatesh sir. So you can redirect him for this question. But although I really want to add one point. So there is something that happened to me that I really want to share. So back in December 2020, I gave Microsoft's interview, and that interview was about program manager intern at USA, definitely. So I never got a chance to be there because of all the things that COVID did, and then they make the whole remote thing only for their area. But there was one thing that I have noticed in India. If you want to apply for a program manager intern at Microsoft India, they require MBA from a tier 1 management institute. But at the same time, in other countries, they do not require anything. They just require like, okay, bachelor's degree in computer science and yeah, the impact to do things. So it's again depend on place to place and needs to needs. In India, there are I think we all are aware that there are lakhs and crores of engineering student, and there are so many management institutes doing MBA. So I guess the crowd is so big, they really want to, at least in the initial states, because I am in constant touch with one of the program managers of the intern program in Microsoft India, Ruchika ma'am, and she explained this concept to me that right now they are at a stage where there will need to be very very selective about the people they take in Microsoft India, because program management affects every single thing. I want to highlight one thing that Venkatesh sir just said. Empathy is and will be and always gonna be the biggest skill set ever. And I really respect the fact that product managers put empathy over everything. When Venkatesh said that empathy is important, I think I am definitely sure some of people will be like, empathy, it's not a technical skill. It is not get some I can teach, or I can learn in my academics. What is empathy? It's not in the syllabus. Damn, I have to go for geeks. But that's not something that you will learn. So I think that's what makes software developers and product managers somewhere, like on a different plane. Because as a product manager, you have to develop the empathy factor, not just for the products, not just for the team, but for the users. So I guess rather than degree, I personally believe, because I have done an internship at a really good company, and the product manager who under whom I was working on, he was a person from IIM Indore, and he had a great history of like taking different perspectives together on a table and then serving the best things. So all the things that I have learned in my journey, even in that interview, I think degree is, I personally prefer degree is good if you have, like, seriously, based on the education system that we have. But most of all, the factors that Farhan and Venkatesh sir just shared, I think they are the ones that matters the most. So over to you, Venkatesh sir. Like, I think this is something that you should add your values on.
Yeah, thanks, Jatin. So if you Google product management, maybe the top 5 results, you'd see that do I need an MBA for product manager, for being a product manager? So this is a very frequently asked question. So what sort of degrees do you need to become a product manager? To be very frank and blunt, if you go and search on LinkedIn product manager, you'd see there are various companies in India that would mention that only folks from IIT, IIM, FMS, MDI, XLRI, BITS, I don't know, maybe a set of more colleges. So if you look at the ground reality, there are companies who prefer hiring from premium institutions, or there are companies who prefer that the candidate should have an MBA degree, and that is a reality, and you cannot escape from the reality. But on the other hand, if you see, there are number of companies who don't count in the degrees, who don't count in from where you are, and still hire product managers. So you should see both sides of the coin, and I think there are ample opportunities if you don't have an MBA, or if you're not from premium institutions. There are companies who keep on hiring product managers from different backgrounds and different different backgrounds altogether. I know a couple of person who are very famous product managers, and they don't have a tech degree at all. Someone has transitioned from customer support team. Someone has transitioned to product management from marketing team. Someone has even transitioned from finance team. So it's a mixed bag of experience. I think it's important, if you follow Naval Ravikant on Twitter, he says don't chase degrees, chase skills. So in this internet era, you don't have to go behind degrees, or the baggage of your college. If you understand the process, that how hiring works, what are the skill set that is required for this job, I think degrees, or your premiumness of your college can help you to get that first step, but not after that. So I think you should not take much load of about all these things and focus more on your skill set, and that will help you to become a product manager sooner or later. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Venkatesh sir. So another question which I have is like, what is the future of the role, this career role like product management, and why it is so important for a company to hire a product management in their team? So Venkatesh sir, over to you.
Uh, it's a very tricky question that, what is the future of product management. Product management is a fairly new role, started post internet, when the internet bubble crashed in 2000s. I think Yahoo started it, as far as I remember, in 2000, around 2005. And in India it's a fairly new role, thanks to all those internet startups that boomed post 2015. So 2015 was the time when Geo came in the Indian ecosystem, and then startup boom happened, and product management role has started. So it's not a very old role in the industry. It's just 5 6 years if you look at the Indian context. I don't know what the future holds for this role. Every role, everything evolves in the industry. It's interesting to see how will this particular role span up over the period of time. Coming to your second question, that how important it is for companies to hire product managers. So it depends. The founder of the Paytm and the CEO, the Vijay Shekhar Sharma, he told that he doesn't prefer hiring product managers. He prefer hiring software developers who have 30% skill set of product managers, and that works fine for them. But again, if you see internet companies or companies which have a product first philosophies, who are extremely obsessive about solving customer problems and keep customers at the forefront of everything that they do, they take product managers very seriously, because if you have different stakeholders like designers and coders and data scientists, but their role is limited to their role is limited of doing what they are supposed to do. But you need a glue that will stick everything together, and that ensures that the product is delivered on time, and it is something that customers love. So product management is that role that is that acts as a glue, and you know sticks every of those functions that are needed to build your product together. So I think companies these days are preferring to hire a lot more product managers, and especially internet companies who have a product first philosophies are very much interested to hire product managers. And I think the role of product manager will grow over the period of time, because you see, when Facebook or Twitter was launched in 2005, if you see their homepage or see their website, you would laugh now. So the bar was very low at that point of time. But if you see a product that is launched these days, and maybe it's launched by a second, third year college, engineering student, the UI UX is still top notch. So that is one thing that has changed over the period of time, and companies will pay for hiring product managers, because user experience and user interface are something that is you know core of internet businesses these days. So yeah, Sayyad and Jatin, please add your points.
Yes, definitely. Thanks a lot for the insights, Venkatesh. Definitely agree with the point when you're saying you don't actually have to worry a lot about the degree if you know how to actually crack the interview process. I mean, it does give you a first step of moving into a product management career, and having an MBA from one of the top tier institutes is very important. But on the other hand, if for example, if you move into the software engineering role and you're trying to transition into product management, then transitioning into the PM roles of the same company is a little bit easier than transitioning to the roles of some other company, right? And you just need to have the required skills to become a product manager, and also network with more and more people. I cannot, stress enough on this point of networking, because this is what will lead you in getting an offer of product management if you're not from a top tier institutes. Of course, networking for top tier institutes is also very important. I think Jatin can give him his ideas too.
Okay, so first of all, I guess Farhan and Venkatesh sir has added really great insights into this thing. One point that I would like to highlight is when Venkatesh sir highlighted how some of the new startups by college students are using UI UX as great deal about their products, and how this new the culture was not too old in India when it comes to product management. And I guess this relates to the main question about the qualification as well, because if you can see, as sir said, the product management concept, it's not that new, but still many companies are preferring over this thing, right? Product managers is something we need. So if you can see in a bigger picture, if the role is not that much old, if the crowd is too much, I think it's fair in a really different manner. It's fair to be a little selective about MBA, because come on, we know that even in India we have certain openness about some roles than other places, right? Because in outside India they also have some degree validation for some roles, and the same roles can be open for everyone in India. And in the same time, I have seen a question in chat box about the same thing, like transaction as a software developer. So as Farhan mentioned all the pointers that can be included, so I want to highlight the same thing. In the same organization, it's not hard to transaction, like you're working under a manager clearly, right? So if you're working under a manager, if you're a software developer, you have been like 2 years there in that company, and you have certain skill set. If you think, and if you showed that kind of a product manager mindset, and basically the mindset is the most important thing that I have heard so far. Because whenever I connect with a person who transition to product manager from a software developer, they said that they sometimes they approach, sometimes they don't, sometimes they get a like a front offer, do you want to lead this kind of a team? But I guess in the end it is just about that product manager is needed, because uh, yeah, I really prefer the fact that we need product managers, because product manager is, you can say it's kind of a, if you have seen that movie Krish 3, you remember, right? Let me give a very desi example. In the first half of the movie, they just made a pen, or let's assume it was a logical thing. So they used sun's energy to power a plant, and then it got destroyed and blast, boom. They said they needed a filter, the dimag wala filter, they say a mind filter, to filter out the required energy and stop the harmful energy, right? So that's what they needed. In the end, uh, Hrithik Roshan's version actually go in front of that device and filtered the amount of energy. So I guess in the same context, an organization really need a product manager, because as Venkatesh sir said, we have different stakeholders in the company: UI designers, software developers, and even the sales people who also have some needs when they need to, sell something. So product manager is like best of all worlds. Like he or she is a person who has knowledge of design and business analytics, sales, marketing, development, everything. It is like dimag wala filter, who can take everything inside and only let the required and the needed product and experiences for the users outside. So you can relate from the fact that Krish is the users of the company, and the Ritik Roshan is kind of a product manager, taking all the ideas and everything on the table, and then going for the best thing that is good for the users. So I think that's how I can relate. And there is a question in the chat. It's by Kanish. Software developer भी product manager हो सकता है क्या अगर उसके पास product management का certificate नहीं हो? I guess certificate is not something it's really needed, because I remember if I really need to share this to Farhan and Venkatesh sir, because recently I'm getting, because I have done an internship in the same domain, I'm getting this question again and again that Google ने project management का certification निकाला है. So will that help me land a product management internship or a job? So personally, in my interview, I never got the chance to show a certificate, although I tried to show LOR given by, I'll not mention, but they don't even think it is somewhere relevant in LOR. So, in the end, to clear that interview, to impress these people, the HRs, I have to share a project that I have made on GitHub. It was a product management project, had everything like design, vision, and a little user guide. So it is a mini product management project. And since then, I am only working on projects because I don't think certificates add any value in my opinion. So what are your views on it?
Okay, so over to you, Venkatesh sir. You are live now.
I think completely resonate with Jatin's point. Recruiters don't bank much on certificate these days for any role. I think it's the skill set that you show by your projects and experience that is more handy. Even when I recruit for product managers, I don't really look for certificates, but since we hire freshers, I look for certain sparks in the resume. So I'll tell you a case. So if someone has applied for a product management role, a fresher has applied for a product management role because we hire freshers with 0 to 2 years of experience, and his resume hasn't mentioned anything about product management, there is 0% chance that I'll shortlist their resume. The second one is, if someone has made a resume and has mentioned that they have done certain courses in product management, at least I know that they understand what product management is and they have shown certain intent to learn about product management. So that is one signal that I get while I shortlist resume. But the role of certificate is just limited. The time I just quickly scan through the resume because it gives me a signal that as a fresher you have shown interest in product management and you're learning product management. Because on job portals what happened is a lot of people randomly apply. They see any job posting, they will just click on apply now and boom, apply. So filtering is a good the certificate is a good mechanism for me to filter those applicants. Apart from that, you have to start somewhere. Now, if you have to learn about product management, you have to start somewhere. I think the key idea shouldn't be to spend a single money on getting certificates. There are a lot of free resources available all over the internet, and you should try to bank on those resources and learn things. I know there are a couple of high ticket price product management courses. One is offered by Upgrad. I'm not endorsing. I haven't even seen, but I've just heard from people like you. So one is Upgrad. Then Udacity offers a few of the courses, but I think it's not much handy. If you really are interested in product management, I suggest people, freshers or folks in colleges who ask me that please buy 2 books. It would cost you just 500 rupees. The first is Decode and Conquer by Louis C. In, and the other book is Cracking PM Interview. You can go on Amazon and search for those books. So these two are, amazing books. It will give you, pretty much experience about how product manager interviews goes about. And you read the book twice or thrice, you will understand, that product management interviews, the hiring process consists of questions like product design, guesstimation, or questions related to matrix, or strategy question, or something like that, or behavioral round. So if you read those books, that is more than enough, and you will understand what product management is and how you should approach those interviews. And once you're done, I think there are a lot of channels on YouTube like Exponent or Product Alliance or Product School. You can see a lot of free resources are available throughout. I think you shouldn't you should be you're in college and you shouldn't spend much money on certification because to put it in one word, certifications are more or less useless. The idea should not be to hoard certificate. The idea should be to learn as much as you can. And so the idea is to learn every day and learn through relevant resources. And if you're finding difficulty in finding those right resources, you can ping me. I've written a blog on the same because a lot of people ask me the same questions. So I've written a blog that how you can learn product management from all the free resources that are available on the internet. And as Jatin said, that it's important to build projects that you can show that these are the tangible things that I've done. That is more important. I was discussing with another guy who was a product manager at Amazon the other day. So I told that signals in a candidate is very important. When we shortlist resume, if someone has written that he or she writes a Substack newsletter and has 1,500 subscribers, that gives an ample idea that as Kunal Shah famously says, that anyone who knows how to win the applause of an audience is a perfect product manager. So these are the signals, that are very handful, very handy for hiring managers to understand that these candidate might be a good fit for that role. So yeah, focus on skills, focus on go on Twitter, follow relevant people like Shreyas and all that, and go ahead. Like, I don't think certifications are needed in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the same thing for Said sir as well. But I would also like to mention that, as Venkatesh sir mentioned, that we have upgraded Udacity and they also provide nano degrees. So what are your views on that nano degrees?
Uh, my views on nanodegrees. Let's see. Well, I haven't personally taken up any of the nanodegree programs from either Udacity or Upgrad, so I don't think I'm the right person to talk about it. I think Jatin had taken up one from Udacity for product management. You'll be the right guy to talk more about what was covered, and you really have to take it up. And as Venkatesh sir was saying, that you have, I mean, he's published a blog with all the free resources. He's mentioned about the YouTube channels. He's mentioned about the people to follow. So I think you can get into the product management field if you have the mindset, as told by Jatin earlier, and you need to have the knowledge. So you can get the knowledge freely. It's all available on the internet. It's free, right? It's just that a few companies are putting all of them together in one place and trying to sell it. Of course, they're providing mentorship and also you can say the right guidance to or the interview prep to move into a product management career. It does help. I'm not the right person to comment on that, but yeah, if you want to move to a product management career, then online resources are pretty much enough for you. And if you want, you can get certifications as it gives a signal that the person is interested in product or project management. So apart from that, a few more things that I'd like to add is like, I mean, Venkatesh has pretty much covered the online resources and all the stuff that you have to learn online to actually become a successful product manager. But what I'd like to cover is a few more points to actually start working on if you're interested in product management. So if you have a project in college, if you're a student in a university, right, you must be from computer science or electronics or let's say civil engineering background. So you have a lot of projects going on in the background. So try to put in a flavor of product management. So the simplest thing that you could do is set up a website for it, have a UI or UX, have a team and try to lead the team. Of course, you need to make sure that your the project which you have in hand is completed within the deadline. Write a blog about it, and try to have a GitHub profile, good GitHub profile, wherein you can boast about your projects. Of course, completed projects which show UI UX designs, which show the engineering that you have put in behind. Because in the end, it's not only about product management skills and the communication skills, but also the domain knowledge which you already have. So try to utilize the domain knowledge in the field that you're working in. If you're already a software engineer, that's well and good. You can try working on social good projects, or you can try working on products that can benefit society. I'm just giving a few examples or a few tips for people who are looking for getting into product management. Always have a minimal viable product ready before you actually approach someone. So if you want to approach some person, you follow a person on Twitter or LinkedIn, you want to approach him for a role, make sure that whatever technical project or whatever website or an app you're working on has an MVP ready, a minimal viable product ready before you contact them. Or if you're in a startup environment, before you apply for funding, you need to make sure that you need to run through the product several times and make sure that the product actually resonates well with what the aim of the company is and what the customers actually require. The same goes with before you talk to executives in a corporate environment, right? So it's very important to validate your learning. In each step, you need to have certain, progress bars to make sure that take a progress bar each time you finish. Each time you finish a certain task in product management, there are a lot of good resources available online. Try to make a list of what are the things you need to complete to actually complete a minimal viable product based on product management design principles, and then try to have progress bars. And once you complete your progress bars and you're sure that okay, your product is ready now, try and reach out to people who are already product managers to get feedback about it. Getting feedback is very important before you actually launch or test out the product with your customers. So yeah, it's very important to actually have experience in this field. I mean, designing products when you are a student before you actually move on to apply to different roles for product management. It's pretty much from my side.
Uh, okay, so as I think that we have got most of our certifications and degrees, but as Said sir mentioned that we have Jatin sir who have done a nano degree from Udacity. So I would like to ask him like, did it ever help to him? So over to you, Jatin sir, for that.
Okay, so first of all, if I have to add on to the points, I guess again, like most of the time, just like the all the questions, Venkatesh sir and Farhan has added 99% of the things here, and I think this is Venkatesh sir is in the industry for a long time. He is actually hiring product managers. So all the pointers that sir has mentioned, it is something that everyone here in who is attending here, we can see 30 plus people. So you should make a note of that because no one can give you better advice than that. And when it comes to resources, look, I don't know how, but the journey that I had, definitely sure that we will share. But it leads me to product management to explore it, and I never back down from it. Whenever I get a at the first time when I needed the first experience of my life, I had already done an Udacity nano degree, but I needed an internship. I really want to go in product management because people have goals, some and few people have passions, but I don't know what attracted me. But product management, I personally take product management as a purpose for me. I went outside India for people because I know it's COVID and people are actually hiring remotely. So what could be the harm? I know that I'm passionate about it. I know that I have projects, not just certification. So that's a great point that we have mentioned again and again. Just like a software developer, you have projects, and Farhan has added how to use your projects to make it into a product management project. So this is the same thing. You have to have a bunch of projects. And when it comes to nano degree, I personally enjoyed every single part of nano degree. It inspired me a lot because there were instructors from several places like Google and Udacity themselves, and there are product managers from other companies, and they shared their journey. And it was a mentor guided project. I have made it a whole project. Presentations like 20 plus presentations based on competitive analysis of the product that I am developing, user guide, marketing things, and risk factors, and what is the vision. Based on vision, you have to make three different slides. Well, I have developed a personality. I had knowledge because I have visited all the things. The resources that Venkatesh sir has shared. I personally follow Exponent and Product School, and there is another channel that I follow. It is PM Diego. Diego sir is also a PM at Microsoft, and he has a channel for the same thing about product management. So these are the three places that I follow, and I never miss their videos. It's like I sit end of the week and I watch all of their videos because they have this videos weekly or at least once in a 2 week. So Exponent and PM Diego is must for me. Sometimes I skip PM Product School, and for the start I never started with nano degree, so never get that confusion. I started with no certification at all. I knew that I wanted to go in this field when I researched for a 2 or 3 months. I started randomly from YouTube. The first channel I went to was Exponent. Again, thanks to God, I still thank that the first channel that I visited was Exponent because Exponent helped me in my Microsoft's interview. There were so many mock interviews, and I have learned from all the mock interviews. I stayed awake 2 or 3 a.m. To make pointers how to make an interview good. And I can say that the first interview that I have cleared at Microsoft, I fall down in the second one, but the first interview was totally credited to Exponent because there are so many mock interviews, and mock interviews is definitely the best thing about it. So I started randomly. Then I moved to product school. They had this master class how to build a product career and how to make a digital product online. So then I did that master class from product school, and after that there are so many other product managers who said that Audacity's nano degree is good, that you can learn a lot. And fortunately, at that point of time, or at least in that month, Audacity is offering like more than 70-80% discount at that point of time because of COVID. It was the time of early COVID. So I did that and I don't regret it. Totally, I don't regret any single penny of that Audacity nano degree, because the way it guided me, I guess I can say the mindset that that was required to land that internship. My first internship as a product manager intern was definitely given to me by the nano degree, because when there is a real person on the other side who checks your projects, who checks your PPTs, and then fail you, okay, this is where you are lacking. This is what you got right. So there are times when my assignment, my project, some parts got rejected and I have to make them again. And then that person guided me, okay, that now you got it in the second time. So this is what molded my mindset into that product management mindset. And when I landed, when I did that freelancing with a startup as the product design in, as a part-time, you can say. So then I realized how much impact I have made. So not just nano degree, but a full-fledged project. And here I want to highlight Farhan's point. You need, if you are making a project, if you cannot afford, if you shouldn't waste money on anything right now. I always say you learning is always free. There is a way to learn for free, but I'll not go to that. If you're making a project, there you should always consult to existing PMs. You can always connect to product managers on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and we have some really good product managers outside who can help us, like Venkatesh sir. And I also know one of the product managers in Internship. His name is Naman. So we connected on a post, and then we did some of the things on LinkedIn about product management. So it was a great thread, a great conversation, and email thread about product management. So, so this is how you connect to people. Make projects, go to PMs, make them know that you are passionate about this field. There is nothing else, qualification, this and that, and certificate. Take it all aside. The first and the foremost thing that I believe is the passion to do that. What can be the, it still gives me goosebumps when I think how people at big places, big product managers who impact millions of lives feel. So that is passion, and I guess passion is above everything. And for Audacity, I already shared, like, project was the best thing, but if you can't afford Audacity, or if you don't want to go for Audacity, the second most closest best thing is make a project, as Farhan shared, totally from your college projects, and then connect to PMs via LinkedIn, and then make them know about your project and take feedbacks. So yeah, that's my take. Sorry I took too much long, but I really needed to share that.
So I would like to thank all our panelists right now. So as they're sharing their valuable experience with us and their valuable advice. And we also have a question in our Q&A section about how can I start this journey of product management as a beginner. So I think that the best approach for this, like we should listen to all the experience of all our panelists. So this will be the best way to answer this question. So over to you, Venkatesh sir. Like, what is your experience and how did you started the role of product management in your current life? And what is your vision about this?
Huh. Uh, just a second. Yeah. This is a very interesting story of how I started into product management. So I'll take some time. Sorry for it. So I was a student, who was very good in history, geography, and other parts of science, or other part of science which is not related to core science. So I was more into reading, writing. I loved writing a lot in my school days, but luckily I somehow got good marks in my 10th in ICSE board, and then what happened was, inherently, if you are born in Bihar or UP, you're supposed to either become a doctor or an engineer. So I chose engineering, but when I was in 11th and 12th, somehow it wasn't hitting me, like why am I even doing this? I was not interested in doing that doing engineering. So apart from that, I landed up in a college in Greater Noida, and I was there in my college, and I was literally, I just wanted to share the story with all of you. I was literally confused that is it even right thing for me to do engineering here, because I was literally not interested. uh, the first year of the college was really terrible and full of horror. Just didn't know what to do. The second year was something when I landed up an internship through contacts, and I did a web development internship at a company, a Gurgaon based startup called Scardeko, and then I did an internship on deep learning from MNIT Jaipur. So this was the exposure of coding that I got, but I was completely disillusioned with the idea that I should be coding. So I had left, uh, the dream of being a software developer. I started contemplating a lot of things. To be very frank, I even joined a coaching classes in Delhi to prepare for UPSC, and I prepared for 8-9 months. In I think in my third year, I did that, and things were going fine. But yeah, उसमें बहुत पढ़ना पड़ता है. You have to study a lot, and I wasn't sure that what will be the outcome and everything. So one of my friend, was building front bench. So his idea was to create a one-on-one online marketplace for mentorship. So he was building it, and he convinced me a lot that you should leave your plan for preparing for a competitive exam and should join me, and should be doing front bench. So I looked at the idea, and I saw that he had made some cool apps and website, and it was working fine, and he literally convinced me a lot. Then a few days later on, he took me to an angel investor in Gurgaon. He's also the CTO of a very famous company. So he looked at our idea, and he said कि अभी ये कर लो, this is a lot of scope, and I believe in you. I think you guys should do it. Then I changed my mind, and we started working on front bench. We took a co-working space in Gurgaon, and we started building things. But I was, to be very frank, I was more interested in coding that time, uh, for a single reason that the startup phase I will gain experience, and I will get a job somewhere where I will be able to code. So that was the entire mindset at that point of time. When you're in college, final year placement is going on, there's a lot of deadlocks, or I don't know that word isn't coming to me, but there's a lot of confusion in your mind that goes around at that point of time. And so my friend told me that we were three co-founders. So he told me that uh, we two will code, and you will do everything apart from coding. That hit me really hard, because I was so naive at that point of time. I didn't know कि in software industry there is certain role apart from coding also. So I told कि नहीं नहीं, I won't be doing it. I will also do coding, because what if the startup fail, and then you guys would have certain tangible experience and I will not have it. So that was all going in my mind. But then these guys told me that we have to do a lot of things. We have to build an online community, and we were running a campus star program, which then finally ran into 150 plus colleges. So we had created a strong network effect and all that. So they told me that we have to do a lot of things apart from coding. We have to look after community. We have to understand growth and build a growth engine for our company. And even we need someone who can manage and handle product for our company. So at that point of time, he told that why don't you explore certain roles like community management, or growth roles, or product management. So I started Googling about all these roles, and the mentor who was an angel investor told me that you are more fit for these roles. So I started exploring all these roles, and suddenly product management and community building and growth hacking was something that resonated with me, and I started doing all those things in my startup for 9 months. And I started doing all those things, and I'm absolutely loving it. I even forgot that I should be coding at that point of time. And luckily, so there was one campaign that we were running, and that went viral on LinkedIn. At that point of time, the CTO of Internshala approached me for a very casual chit chat, and we talked. We sat and talked in Gurgaon that what we are doing and all those things. What we are doing in front bench and how we are planning to impact a lot of students all across this country. And so that was in the very start. I think that was around 3 months after we started building front bench. Then what happened was, for multiple reasons, we realized that we would not be able to scale front bench. One is because students want a tangible end outcome, a certificate, a course that you were telling, or a promise of better job or a better salary. But what we were offering didn't guarantee an instant gratification. So it was very hard to convince students to pay for something that didn't give a tangible end value. And apart from that, one thing is there are a lot of plethora of free resources on the internet, and it's very important. It's very difficult to sell ticket price courses to students compared to our working professionals. We tried it later on and we were quite successful. Even we are trying it now. So that those were the learnings from it. And then we closed the startup, and I was looking for a job. I just posted on LinkedIn that I've closed front bench. I don't know what's next, but I'm looking for opportunities. So a lot of people whom I interacted with build network. A lot of people approached me that we are hiring. Please join us. And so Internshala was one company. Vikram, who is the CTO of Internshala, messaged me and he told that we are hiring for a PM. Glad if you join. And I was like, okay, like I'm willing to join, and the process move ahead, and I eventually joined Internshala. So I think for my career, I think the network that I've built with people that has helped me more than anything else. I haven't applied for I haven't applied on any job boards as of now because job boards actually sucks. So it's important to build long-term relationship with people all around. As Jatin was telling that he meets and communicates people with on LinkedIn and Twitter. I think that is more important. As a student, also I'm telling you a pro tip: you don't have any baggage. You can just message anyone. He can be the VP or the CEO of Amazon also, because you're a student. You don't have to think even for a moment. Who knows, you will get a reply. So don't hesitate in doing so. I don't know, your career is just made up of the long-term relationships that you are nurturing. And if you're in college, you have all luxury of doing it. Talk to people, talk to a lot of people. Who knows? You will get an opportunity from somewhere. Apart from all other things you do, like you apply at a job post, you sit for placements. If you spend 30-40% of your energy on networking with people, connecting with right people, and just having a conversation with them, I think that would pay you much better in your career, both in the short run and long run. So that is my story of how I landed into product management. I don't know that I might have been lucky that I landed into product management, but this is how I have landed into product management. I think for me, people and relationships are more important than anything else. Everything can stay aside. Your salary, your CTC, your ESOPs, the people with whom you are working, and the relationship that you nurture with people is something that is of that is of something most significant for me. Yeah.
You know, indeed, it was a great story from school to UPSC exams, then startups, and then finally landing to Internshala. So I wish you all the very best for the future, Venkatesh sir.
For
And
sure.
now we have Said sir for sharing his experience on how he started and what about his vision on product management. So
Awesome.
over to you, sir.
Yeah, right. By the way, Venkatesh, thanks for sharing your story. It was really inspiring.
Thanks, Sayed.
Yeah. So to me, I was really interested in robotics and embedded systems back in high school. So I used to see line follower robots when I was in 8th standard, 8th and 9th standard. And pretty much that got me interested into working with microcontroller boards like Arduino, working with microprocessors like Raspberry Pi. And I started moving towards the field of embedded systems during that time. And then I started taking up courses from few edtech companies like Skyfi Labs and a few others who are in the embedded systems startup space who are developing, you can say, courses where they deliver the hardware to you at home, and then you follow the videos online, and then you get a certification. So I mean, I have the skill set, and I can actually, build some kind of a company, something similar to what companies like Skyfi Labs were doing. So in my 11th and 12th grade, or after just my 11th and 12th grade, I started a small company. It's known as Vada AI. We registered the company and we started moving forward with course development. We used to have lots and lots of hands-on sessions with Arduino, with Node MCU boards, with Raspberry Pis, and a lot of other embedded system boards, right? And it was a good experience, good learning experience for me, because I had to actually learn how management works, how you manage a company, how you set up things from scratch and move towards a state wherein you're actually developing content and delivering it to customers. In this case, the customers are the students, right? Who have to learn and give feedback so that your startup can sustain. This was one of the most, you can say, good learning experiences for me. Of course, I couldn't take the startup forward because I got an offer from one of the startups in Bangalore. It's known as Citriate. And so Citriate was working in the industrial IoT and artificial intelligence space. So they were automating the industries which are prevalent today with their own products. They had a lot of patented products, and what my role was at that time, I was hired for a software engineering intern. I was pretty happy, I mean, I'll get to learn a lot about how an actual startup works in an industrial environment, in industrial IoT space and AI. So I started off by learning bits and bits about what software engineering is, how you actually apply it, and then how you merge software engineering with hardware engineering, because their you can say their vision was to build products that will actually impact the IoT industries, right? So once I started learning things here and there, and just then the technical lead of Citriate had actually moved on to some other company. So I was promoted to being the technical lead. Of course, not the exact technical lead, but the acting technical lead for a few months. So there I got to learn a lot about product management, how to manage products, how to complete certain product specification, how to get the products ready within a deadline and within a certain budget. So there I also started development of new products within Citriate. So it was a really good learning experience for me for almost a year, and then I somehow moved towards research. So I thought about myself, okay, why am I stuck towards, you can say, embedded systems, or why am I stuck towards only industrial IoT or the AI field? Why not look further beyond? Why not look into virtual reality, augmented reality? Why not look into fields which are developing right now? Like, for example, quantum computing is one of the most important fields which is developing. It doesn't use the classical bits which you have, right? It's a completely new paradigm. We have neuromorphic computing. I started exploring new paradigms which exist in the fields of engineering and research. More and more amount of study. I spoke to a lot of professors at IISc, a lot of professors in the US universities, like University of Pennsylvania, then University of California, Los Angeles. And here and there, I used to talk a lot to people. Then then I started looking. Then quantum computing really interested me, and I moved into IBM India Research Labs to actually work on quantum computing research, quantum machine learning to be more specific. And from there on, I've been more interested towards research plus product management. So if you look at Microsoft's Azure Quantum, so it's nothing but a product for quantum computing in Microsoft. And they have a lot of technical product management roles, which also overlap with research. So that's one of the areas that currently interests me. Of course, this interest can change over time, but right now I'm looking for master's programs in emerging technologies, and then later on moving towards the product management role. So that was pretty much about my experiences in the field of product management and research.
Okay, so it was very inspiring for us, and we also wish you best of luck for all your future gains. And now we have Jatin sir to share his views and all about we want to say. So over to you, Jatin sir.
Thank you so much. First of all, my journey isn't that much, what shall I say, in deeply insightful like Farhan or super inspiring like Venkatesh sir. So let me get this on a simple terms. I am, not a kind of a person who started everything from like 10th and 11th and 12th. I have basically started discovering my interest and skills and everything from my, I guess, after 12th only. So my whole journey started from my freshman year. I am, like I was a little different than any other people in my year because I wasn't that much focused about being first year ka person enjoying and everything. I had this little different interest with me because I had this interest to explore every technology. When I came in CSC, I decided I wanted CSC because technology is attracting me from the childhood. That's what I knew only back then, that technology attracts me a lot and I want to lead things. That's the two things in my mind. And I had this interest of exploring all the technologies that I get. I many times, like tons of times, my friends hate me because I cut off to so many movements, group movements, because I was busy in my hostel room watching some big developer conferences videos like Google I/O or Microsoft Build. When it comes to big developer conferences, I have just two things in my mind. So from that moment on, I have this thing about technology. The technology is something superior. Is something superior because every single thing can end. Technology has the way to get the solution of everything. Even right now, if we use technology in the right way, I still feel that we have a way to solve COVID problems that are happening in India, because some of people are really working to do great things in technology. So that's how my mindset has developed. So by the end of first year, I have done exploring technologies. I started from web, then I moved to machine learning. I never went to deep learning at all because I realized after almost 1.5 months that it's not for me. And after that, I had this sensation like, why shouldn't go for voice technology? Because no one is going for voice. Everyone is going for only web app or ML, web app or ML. So let's go for voice technology. Then I started my journey in voice, and I think most of people know that voice took me to the places I never ever thought it could lead me. First, I started with Google Assistant. It made me connect to really good people at Google. I'm still connected. They guide me a lot. And then after that, I am done with Google Assistant. I advanced myself to Amazon Alexa, because when I saw that Alexa is literally so much everywhere especially when it comes to India, Alexa is everywhere. People like, I have a 5-year-old cousin and he likes to play with Alexa a lot, and he seriously thinks Alexa is a real person. So yeah, and then I went for Alexa, and then I have got this chance by Amazon. Amazon selected me to, being the ASI. They invited us to the Amazon headquarters at Bangalore. We got trained by their solutions architect Karthik sir for, almost 3 days continuously. For just about how coding works in voice technology, not just Alexa, but in basic, how you think about that. And when I met so many people at Amazon, even about, like how things work and what are the things that they do in their office. So all these things, I guess, leading me to realize, by end I realized this thing, that technology impacts people more than we think, more than any participant can realize, and more than any of us can even imagine. Technology has the power to change someone's life. So if you can make good things in your products, I just thought, what if I am a person who is making a technical product that has goodness, and some things that I personally am a big, I really believe in empathy, but after reading Satya Nadella's sir's Hit Refresh, I believe empathy is there now in the society. What we need right now is more of compassion. So I started doing everything with compassion and empathy. And I just thought, what if we made a product that has all these things like compassion and empathy with the best of technology? So just imagine how much you can impact people, how much better lives you can create for people out there with technology if you combine. But then I started exploring, okay, Now I know what I want to do. Now I seriously know what I want to do, but how do I do it? How is the biggest question that we face, right? We realize we want to do, but how? Then I came to know about product management and what product managers do, how they impact people, and that's how my passion started developing with product management, and that's how journey evolves. I started learning about product management, the foundations. As I said, I went to some YouTube channels like Exponent, and so many places, PMDICO, Product School. I learned all of these things. I did Udacity Nano degree, and this whole journey made my mindset molded into a product manager mindset. Then I landed my first internship, my first you can say job as a product manager intern at a really good company. The culture was really, I can perfectly compete the culture of Experto to any of Google, Amazon, because the culture was seriously that much similar. I enjoyed a lot. Seriously, the sprint meeting, the daily scrum meetings was so fun. I can't even share. Like, it was so great to learn under that like a kind of super product manager. He taught me a lot. He saw that I had this passion, and believe me, if you have passion, and so yeah, like that's it. Like, I had this passion, he molded me into this thing, and then again I met so many projects. I did an freelancing, and then I have landed an interview at Microsoft, and for that I basically did everything again to make myself a product manager and passionate. And even after the interview I learned a lot, and even after that I have constantly working on projects. Then I did this 220 days of product as a Twitter challenge, just like you have 160 days of coding, and like something like that. So yeah, 100 days of code. So I myself invented this 20 days of product, and I made all of these things combined into one. I cleared zero, like foundation to UI and UX, to different ways to all do these things. So this is my journey. I never started with product management as a pinpoint. I started with a realization that I want to use technology to impact people. I want to make people's lives better with technology. Then it made me redirected to product management. And then product management brought so many wonders with me. I connected with so many amazing people from Microsoft, Google, Amazon. You name it, I can, like, that's what I can say. You name it, I can show it. I have learned so many things from so many people, and I still connect to product managers so often. Like recently, I'm talking to one of the technical program managers at Spotify, and he was sharing his journey about how he's using compassion and empathy as a daily factor in his journey as a product program manager. So again, program, product, and project varies with organizations. So the point is this: I'm always connecting to people, always learning from the entire journey, because I I feel that as a human being, we are not bound to the norms of money. I think in COVID especially proved that money is not something that can help people. We have all seen there are so many rich people, actors, cricketers in India, but we have seen Sonu Sood sir working so hard for people. So one thing is for sure, it's never about money as a human. So then what is it about? I and all these things proved that it is about compassion, understanding someone's pain. Not that is empathy, right? But when you go ahead, when you put the first step to solve someone's problem instead of taking advantage. Recently 90% of people just, they all are about deception and taking profit out of everything. So I personally believe, why not take that thing aside for a part and put that feeling, that purpose into your technical products. And that's what they do in this big companies, right? So they do a lot with this products, and that's what redirected me to product management. And I still am passionate about this technology, this field a lot. And I think that's why I made really good connections, because people, when they see my headline and my profile, my experience, and my even my LinkedIn post, I think when my Twitter especially, so they realize, okay, this person is really keen into product management, and that's why we should connect. So I think that's why I started connecting people. And as Venkatesh sir said, networking is the best part about it. And as Said said, technology is the second best part about it. Empathy first, second technology, third understanding. And when you have these three things garnished with the skill set and the mindset of a product manager, boom, you can be the next best person. So yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't want to keep it that long. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Jatin sir. And live, we are moving towards the vote of thanks. So I would like to thank Jatin sir, Sai sir, Venkatesh sir for all their valuable time, for joining us and sharing their valuable experience with us. And we will be providing their LinkedIn profiles in the chat so you can connect with them. And if we haven't answered any question in the Q&A section, then it is because that we have already answered that question. So we will be sharing the recording of the live stream. So you can again watch it and get your question answered. So this is the end of the event, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much, Darshit, for inviting. And before we finally close out to everything, so I really wanted to thank everyone who was here with us, and thank you so much everyone who was here, and thank you so much Farhan, thank you so much Venkatesh sir, and it was really great to listen to all of your pointers. Like I am connected to you guys, but this at a single platform having all the pointers, I think that made me learn a lot today, and I can say this is one of the best panel discussions of for me this year because the things that I have learned today is the best. You know the way. Farhan shared his journey in technology, realizing from a single blind follower to quantum technology. So all the things inspire me a lot, and all these things do have an impact. So this is the last thing that I wanted to share, and we really want to hand over some mementos, and definitely for the speakers, we will. Thank you so much, Farhan and Venkatesh sir. We will mail you some of the mementos. That is the heartily thank you from our side, and a great shout out to the team who made this panel discussion because even as a speaker, I feel that they have done a great job as in totally new ambassadors. So I really want to thank everyone from the moderator Darshit, Shruti, and Priya, and even Manish and Manya who were there from the start. But then again, COVID never stopped, right? It always has to attack some of our own family members and some of our own team members, but we never became weak. We still are together. And thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, this fest that gave us this event a chance to be out there. Thank you so much, the whole technical team, Avni, Prateek, Yash, Shreyans, and Kritika, who is, I guess, who is working the most in this fest to make the best things possible. So yeah, thank you so much, you guys as well, to giving us a chance. And okay, I want to end everything here. And thank you so much for all the attendees. We have been to like almost 2 hours and we still had like the 30 count with us. So that's a rare, totally sure. And yeah, 50 and 60 count is like something very rare to see that. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. And let's end it. Before we go, Farhan, would you like to add something?
Yeah, thanks for having me here, guys. I really enjoyed talking at this panel discussion. Of course, learned a lot of new points from Venkatesh as well, and your journey was inspiring too, Jatin. Well, looking forward to more such events in the future. See you guys later.
Thank you so much, Farhan. Okay, Shruti, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you all of for joining us. It's my pleasure to giving the thank you note and yeah, thank you for joining us and hope you all safe, stay safe and do take care of your life and also your family too. So thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, our speakers and guests. Thank you for being there.